go?
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Welcome to our briefing. I'm Major Mike Ryan. I actually went to the det here, graduated from Auburn. It was when we won the Sugar Bowl in '04, so I was ending on a high note with the shitty years I was here with thin beard and that. But you guys have got to experience that for the last couple of years. But anyways, so welcome. Everybody's going to introduce themselves, talk a little about their platforms that we fly. I personally fly the H60. I've previously flown the H1. H1's in charge of D support in both Andrews and in Japan and Tokyo, and then missile fields for security forces, and then also flying the H60 for combat search and rescue. But Chris will talk about that later.
Hi, I'm Major David Stevie Underwood. I got my name from Stevie Wonder, if you guys are wondering. I'm an F-16 pilot by trade. No, I'm not going to tell that story. Fly F-16s. I've been to Shaw and Aviano both for the F-16, doing two separate missions there. So Shaw is doing the suppression of enemy air defenses and destruction of enemy air defense mission there. You go out there in the front lines with the strike package. You go out there, you shoot anybody that's flying, and then you shoot stuff at the ground that's trying to shoot at you. Then at Aviano, flying in the Block 40s, doing the pure air ground missions, just pure bomb dropping out there. Forget how to do air stuff once you go there. In the middle of that, though, I did spend some time with the Army as an air liaison officer and a JTAC as well, which is a really interesting experience. So if you guys were interested in a battlefield airman type of career field, that is now an option for you guys, leaving ROTC to be a career air liaison officer. It's a lot of fun. You're pretty much just an officer, a JTAC that's got a rank on your shoulders, and you get away with a little more things than they can. But you go out there, you're the advocate for air power for the Air Force to the Army as well, so you're out there doing planned missions with the Army brigade staffs.
All right, Lieutenant Colonel Ryan Connor, go by Rhino. I'm a electronic warfare officer by trade, so what would have been navigator, electronic warfare officer, now we call it combat systems officer. I did that for 7 years. I flew on the RC-135 rivet joint. Anyone heard of that? It's except for the dudes who were in here. Were you in here earlier? No, you weren't. Okay, so you heard it. I was like, wait a minute. It's a reconnaissance plane. Signals intelligence is what it does, which is electronic intelligence and communications intelligence. So it's like a tanker. You guys have seen a tanker, but it's painted more like a civilian plane, and it has a lot of antennas sticking off of it like a porcupine. Does a lot of cool missions. I flew Operation Allied Force, Operation Southern Watch, Operation Northern Watch, Iraqi Freedom. I flew the first night of Operation Iraqi Freedom and the second night of Operation Enduring Freedom. I've also spent some time flying on the E3 or the AWACS, doing electronic warfare stuff for them. And then I was also an instructor at the Combat Systems Officer Schoolhouse at Defense School of Florida. Not a bad place to be. ROTC grad from Cal State University, Sacramento, a long time ago. Yeah.
My name is Major Jessica Greeny. I go by Jaguar. Same. So I fly the KC-135. It's a tanker, giant flying gas tank. I graduated from the University of Delaware, the ROTC program. And I've got a quick video if you can play the refueling video. We carry about 320,000 pounds of fuel, and we're pretty big. But everybody thinks that the inside of a tanker, you think there's like gas in there, right? No, you walk inside, it looks just like a normal airplane, and it's all the gas is underneath the fuselage and in the wings. So I am a master of waivers. I'm on 5 waivers. Height waiver, kind of knew what I was going to go fly. So like I said to the last group that came through, don't take no. There's always a way to figure it out if you really want something. So you just have to try hard enough, and you have to make sure you're professional enough that the people that are above you are going to, try to help you. So, been stationed in Japan for my first assignment, and then there I got to go to Australia, Singapore, Alaska, all these cool places, because everywhere all these guys go, they need gas to get there. So we bring them to these places. So really enjoyed my assignment. Got done something called contingency response. We respond to humanitarian missions. My unit is in Haiti right now, helping out with the relief effort there, opening an airfield. So as they need pilots to help coordinate and give their advice on how that goes down. I'll get off Heather.
Major Heather Demas. I have call signs, but we can talk about those later, if you're old enough. Just kidding. So I am a special ops pilot for AFSC. I fly MC-130Ps. However, they just recently retired and I'm transferring over to MC-130Hs. I've been flying in Special Forces my whole career. It's something that you have to know what you want to do if you want to do it. From the time if you don't want to go that fighter track from UPT and you want to push over to do fighters or to do and not do fighters, then you have to know when you go to Corpus or whatever that follow-on you want to do AFSC. Make sure it's known and then do well because it's all based on points. There's tons of planes within Special Forces, but I fly a variant of C-130. So majority of C-130s all do some form of airdrops, where they drop supplies or people out of the back of planes. We do a little bit more where we do short takeoffs and landings on dirt fields less than 3,000 feet. We bring people into fields either through airdrop or through landings and takeoffs. And then we also do helo refueling. So all these helos, we give them gas if they're set up to do so, along with we get gas from the 135s. And not most slick C-130s don't have that capability. I have been in OIF, OEF, and Haiti and tsunami relief in Japan and in the Philippines. First station in Florida, Japan, back to Florida, and now Alabama.
I'm Major Chris O'Connor, to go by Obi. I'm an HA-60 pilot. I started out in Huey's as well, so did that as well. So combat rescue, as far as the mission goes, it's about saving lives. So our motto is these things we do that others may live. And so combat search and rescue, so pulling a dude maybe just punched out in enemy territory out of a bad situation, saving Marine soldiers doing casualty evacuation, medical evacuation, humanitarian relief operations, embassy evacuation, whatever task we may be do. So that's what we do. So see the Jolly Greens, Mike, you want to show them the illustrious Jolly Green, and then the green feet. A lot of heritage behind those. I can talk to you guys more about that later. So that's the mission, going out into combat and saving lives. As far as the flying goes, it's awesome. It's like, I don't know, I kind of equate it to like flying a Jeep. So you're flying 50 to 100 feet, it's super rugged, doors off, flying on the side of mountains, machine guns off the side. A lot of variety. So you might be, Mike and I both spent a lot of time in Afghanistan, so flying in and out of the mountains, pulling or rescuing guys who have been hit, Afghan civilians, kids. Oddly enough, one of my first rescues was a Taliban guy, so you never know what's going to happen. Kind of weird, but anyway, so that's kind of the mission. But yeah, so the flying, anywhere from that kind of stuff to flying off the back of a destroyer in the middle of the night. One of my first deployments was in support of Libya. We were flying on the back of an amphibious assault ship with the Marines. So doing that kind of stuff to Iraq, Afghanistan, supporting stuff in Iraq, Syria. So kind of all over the place. I was in Vegas before this at Nellis, and then I was at RAF Lake and Heath prior to that in England. So did that. A lot of bombing around Europe and helicopter, creating noise, which is a lot of fun. I got one video I'll show you guys. Oh, you good? I got the National Geographic. If you guys saw it, Combat Rescue. I know it's a cheesy one, but it's 30 seconds. So I don't have time to play the good one.
Which is
What is it?
AVU or ADU.
Got it.
Our main mission is to
It's a little snapshot.
in person, no matter how dangerous it may be. I have no problem with sacrificing myself for someone else. It's my job.
Inside Combat Rescue, Monday, February 18th at 10 on National Geographic.
All right, that's my down and dirty on combat rescue and helicopters. So if you guys are interested or want to know more, come talk to me. I know I went to UPT and there wasn't a lot of helicopter representation. So I had kind of reached out to a few different squadrons to try and learn more. So if you guys want more, you have 3 of us, oddly enough. So ask away. Yeah.
I am Major Vanessa Wilcox. I am a B-52 nav, CISO, radar, bombardier, depends which seat I'm in, what you want to call me. Started out at Randolph for nav training. It is now all at Pensacola. And then went to Barksdale for my B-52 training. Been there most of my career. You have Barksdale and Bossier City, Louisiana, or Minot, North Dakota for your B-52 bases. So good choices. I can show a video, it's probably the easiest. For the last 10 years, we haven't been in combat. We are now in combat, finally. We've spent the rest of the time in Guam, which is not horrible, except for the fact that you aren't getting to drop bombs on bad guys when you're in Guam. So this is some pod video of us dropping. So when they talk about B-52 is not carpet bombing, no, we're not carpet bombing. Very specific targets. So drop pretty much any weapon in the for the most part. And these were small bombs. So if you have any questions, that's what I do. Is there another video?
My video, but it's longer. I'll try to find a
You want to
snippet.
find it?
Yeah.
You guys want to ask questions while she finds the video?
Yeah, what do you got for us? What do you want? What do you want to know?
What's the best UPT is to do this? Do you think I'll suck at those?
I don't know.
I think it's Columbus. Maybe. I didn't go there, but that's what I've heard. No, that's where I went. There is nothing in Oklahoma.
Waffles
Sorry
used
if
to be
anyone's
great
from
when I let you go to
Oklahoma.
Mexico, but now you can't go to Mexico. The waffles out there.
Did any of y'all go to Shepherd?
What they're
This
buying.
many pilots?
Or Shaw Falls.
Oh, crap.
It's the biggest city.
You're going to have to...
They let us fly airplanes. It's
It's
okay.
okay. I'm fixing it.
Are you?
Yep.
It's still going up, so I don't think you are.
Any questions about the Air Force in general? What to expect? Doesn't have to be aviation specific. Like I know when I was in ROTC, we used to have individual desks, and I sat right here, and I had no clue what to ask, so I never asked anything.
I just sat in for a few seconds on the end of the security forces, talk, and she was talking very directly about leading airmen and, the traditional leadership versus peer leadership. Because oftentimes you hear about pilots talking about peer leadership versus traditional leadership. Now that y'all are majors, y'all have, you're stepping away from like just flying, right? You're doing like administrative things as well. How do y'all exercise y'all's leadership, and what skills that you've learned on, traditional versus peer leadership and those kind of things in your current airframe?
So, pretty good question.
Yeah.
Good question.
I'll take this kind of for you, and that's what I do as a squadron commander, is we're teaching leadership to captains in the Air Force. In a flying career, I will say, and I guess I'm sort of making a general statement in this, for the most part, yes, it's going to be pure leadership, and you're not going to have that many opportunities to lead like the security forces guy. You have someone in there as a captain is going to be overseeing a bunch of airmen, young folks, that he's really got to take care of, make sure that they're probably going to get in trouble, and take care of it. For the most part, ours are when you're on the crew in the airplane is your leadership opportunity. There's a few to be a flight commander, but a flight commander within a flying squadron it's not a real leadership job. You're like, hey, make sure that you're getting that you show up on time. Hey, make sure, there's not a whole lot there. I would say in the flying world, for the most part, as a lieutenant colonel is a point at which you're going to actually start having to lead multiple individuals. So it is, there may be some others, but for the most part, that's at the point when you go, hey, now you're in charge of a large organization or a bunch of people. So in that sense, you're a little bit behind the power curve from some other career fields, say security forces or maintenance career field, where they're going to have lots of individuals. For the most part, yours are probably pretty competent because they're all officers and had to get through a lot of different crucibles to get to the point where they're at. So they're probably pretty smart too, and you're not babysitting. So maybe a little bit less on the leadership as opposed to doing the mission.
Piggyback on what you said, sir. So I just got done a mobility internship program. I would go out on the road. We'd have 3 officers and 120 airmen. like going to random bases all over the world, set like first to Ebola, first to Haiti, all these crazy places, and you're in charge of 50 different AFSCs and you're expected to lead them. So there are opportunities out there, and even in the same place, I only have a 3-person aircraft, 1 boom operator who's enlisted. Take every opportunity, because every leadership opportunity, it doesn't matter if you make a difference with 1 person or 100 people, you take that opportunity to act as a leader. So I didn't join the Air Force to fly, I joined to be a leader.
Yeah, same. So we both have had the same experience as well with, we both ran a public affairs shop for a year.
Yes.
Their career field has some manning issues, and I was a brand new captain in charge of 13 airmen. I'd never led anybody in my life. I'd only been in a flying squadron. So I got that opportunity much younger than somebody else just because I volunteered. So you can totally search out those kind of opportunities along the way as well with that kind of stuff, because you're the second person I've met not in my community who has had that opportunity. So just keep those kind of things in mind.
Leadership's all about perspective too. So you're gonna hear it all the time that in fact you're never gonna lead until you're lieutenant colonel. But that's not really true. I mean, the way you look at it, you're gonna be responsible for, no matter what you're flying, you're gonna be responsible for some formation of aircraft. That's leadership right there. And I mean, something goes wrong, you're the one leading that, you're the one that they're gonna come to, good or bad. And you could be leading an entire red flag mission commander factor on a out there as well. So there are a lot of opportunities to lead out there. It's just your perspective and how you're gonna lead it. And the style in which you want to lead as well can be very important. And it does also depend on the situation you're in. But just like they're saying too, there are, even for guys like me, there are opportunities. Like I took a break from the jet to go lead 35 JTACs as a detachment commander, as a captain.
Yeah.
It's kind of unheard of. They wouldn't give me G-series orders, I wonder why. But there's a lot of opportunities out there for you too. So don't be afraid to pass those up. Or don't pass those up.
Appreciate your maintenance. Appreciate your maintenance. That'll save you
Yes.
forever.
Yeah, I'm speaking in generalities with that. So like I said, at any point, there's an airplane with 35 people on it. You got to lead that crew to accomplish the mission. So at different points, it's just like you're saying, is a lot more of your peers is what you're working with, as opposed to a lot of junior folks. What you're thinking is stereotypical, like I'm the leader in the top, and I've got all these young folks below me.
Every opportunity, you will learn something. So from whatever leader you have, you'll learn something, and you'll take it and you'll put it in your pocket of like, I'm never doing that, or I love this and I'm definitely doing that. So take nuggets throughout your entire career, like this guy rocked and I really like the fact that he did X, Y, Z. But this guy was an ass and he did this, and this is what I don't like about that. Because every single leader, you will learn something from them, whether they're an amazing leader or they're not that great. You have more questions?
Everybody here wants to be pilots?
Do you know where you're going yet? No. I'm going to Shepherd, so.
Alright.
You want to do heavies, right? Javelins, fighters.
Heavies? Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not into commercial pilots, but you can get hired pretty easy if you want to go that way.
What can you tell us about, like, it's kind of new, we kind of learned about it, I guess, 3 weeks ago. What can you tell us about the, like, U-28 mission?
So the U-28 mission grew really heavily in '06. So initially it was all TS, top secret stuff. However, now it's not as an issue. So it's an ISR platform for the most part. Initially, it does have other capabilities on there. So it's 2 pilots and some, initially it was Navy, but now they've got basically CISOs in the back. Depending on the mission, they can augment their crew a little bit heavier. But yeah, so it's a small platform. You know, it's the U-28 is the PC-12. It's a single engine prop plane. Initially when they had it, it was literally, you didn't put certain pilots together because there's weight restrictions on the pilots, because weight meant fuel and fuel meant longer missions. So they work, you know, everybody works with different types of people. But AFSC supports a lot more of the Navy SEALs and the Green Berets and all those kind of different entities. So you'll work a lot more with those kind of people too.
And then we heard a lot about, like, especially on the fighter side, there's this you know, the big deal about the pilot shortage. I'm curious, is that the same on the FE side or like across the board? Is that?
Yeah.
So United and Delta are literally trying to get as many pilots they can. They want, their numbers exceed the amount of pilots in the Air Force for the next hiring cycle for United, Delta, and Southwest, the big three. So there's a shortage across every command.
And especially heavies, they target us. So because we get so many hours and we're used to flying bigger types of airframes, I have a ton of friends that have gotten out.
They get
And
poached.
you're seeing it in the CISO, WISO, EW community as well, because a lot of us have private pilot's license, so we're losing people left and right.
So what do y'all think about, like, I guess the most recent Columbus drop was like 1938s and 11 T-1s? Is that, like, that's not usually typical?
Oh, what about the
And
helicopters?
then I think there was two. I think there was two. Is
We've
that?
gone through where there haven't been any 38s and a drop, even with the fighter dudes that would go through like yeah, and even when they actually go through and they're in the 38 track, they used to get RPAs sometimes. So it's unpredictable as to what the tracks will go.
It's all ebb and flow, but I think when you get to UPT class, see what people want. And I think also you'll learn, like you have different 4 phases, right guys? So you have the different phases will kind of teach you on what you want to do, right? If you're not a big formation fan or the aero fan, if you don't like the aero piece, then you probably aren't going to be the fighter guy. You know, Trey, helicopter guys, you can vouch for. Most of the guys that wanted to fly helicopters, they did not care for all of the G's and all that kind of stuff. You know, a lot of them got sick, had to do Blarney chairs and all that crap.
Not gonna lie.
For me, it was something unique. I'd flown in a 747 and F-15, and I had never flown at treetop level. I was like, well, I'm gonna base my career off something I've never done, and I've never looked back.
Yeah, a lot of stuff too. I mean, you guys got an opportunity. You got at least a year or more for some of you guys. But each mission airframe community is going to be a little bit different. So you kind of want to figure out, you know, where you sink your teeth into. If it's you know, if it's a strike type mission or a combat airframe, if the heavy, the air mobility stuff piques your interest. Like for me, this was my first choice going to helicopters. I wanted the mission was important to me. Some places have really good living bases they can be assigned. Some have great other opportunities. So it just kind of depends. There's goods and bads probably to every airframe. So seek it out. I mean, you got a whole panel of us today that are more than happy to talk to you. There's some you're like, hey, you know, I'm really interested in U-28, so I'm really interested in something. Try and kind of seek that out and get some information, because I think you'll find everything is different in good and bad ways. So.
If you have more questions on U-28, ask my husband for them.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and rotate.